So let's talk about a dominant masculine presence in a relationship, because that's what we're trying to do with the book. Okay. And if you guys haven't read the book yet, let me drop a link to it in the chat here. I think Stream Elements might be doing that for me already, but let me drop a link here. You can also search for it on Amazon. Just do a search for The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence. There's 3 books out right now. Mine is Psychology Paradigm. But let's talk about a dominant masculine presence. This whole book series is based off of Thor's original book, A Dominant Masculine Presence. So, definition and traits. So, a dominant masculine leadership involves decisiveness, strength, and integrity. Right? Being decisive. One of the things I've learned from the book Think and Grow Rich is that successful men make decisions quickly and change their minds rarely, if ever. Right? They go with their gut, and their gut, like 9 times out of 10, leads them in the right direction. But if you're the kind of guy that's wishy-washy, you need a fucking committee to make a decision, you need to think about things for 5 days straight, and then you still don't go with your gut because you're scared to make a decision, you're not an effective leader. You don't have a dominant masculine presence. You can develop that, and you can learn to become more decisive and make decisions more quickly. That's a skill. Right? You could start trusting your own decisions. But that's the thing, right? You don't trust your own decisions, so you hem and haw about it, and you're afraid of making the wrong decision. Right? It's a fear thing. There's a guy that he's an OG 3% brother I've been chatting with lately, and he's been in the same fucking problem for like over a year now. And he's in this long distance relationship that, like, long distance relationships are glorified pen pals. They just don't fucking work. And a year ago, he was complaining that he's in this relationship. She doesn't respect him. And she moved away from where he lives up to New York, and he's down in Florida. And she moved up to New York, and then he's talking about, hey, when are you going to move back? And she's like, not wanting to hurt his feelings. So she's like, oh yeah, I might move back. But she's never fucking moving back. And he's been dealing with this for over a year now, and he's still dealing with it. And I told him, like, dude, you know what you need to do. You know that this is a pointless fucking relationship. You're not getting any value out of it, and it's only giving you headaches. This is a hell of your own creation, because you will not do what you know you need to do. He's not being decisive about it. And so I told him, like, why haven't you pulled this trigger yet? And he's like, fear, bro. I'm like, fear of what? She's not even around. What are you afraid of? She's not even here. She hasn't been here in over a year. What the fuck is your problem? But he doesn't have that dominant masculine leadership. He doesn't have that skill to trust his own instincts and go with his fucking gut. Right? Confidence and approachability. So this type of leadership presence, right? The dominant masculine presence, this leadership presence balances assertiveness with approachability, fostering loyalty and respect, right? Think of RP Thor. You guys know who RP Thor is, right? He has that dominant masculine presence, but he's like one of the most chillest guys in the fucking world. He's one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet in the red pill space. He's totally approachable, right? Because he has that confidence and approachability, right? He's got that vibe. And then we have strength with empathy. So leaders can integrate strength with tactical empathy to inspire and guide their team effectively. So what's empathy? A lot of people get this mixed up, right? There's a difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is where you are trying to feel their feelings, right? You're trying to take on their emotions and their feelings, and that doesn't help anybody. But empathy is where you can understand where someone's coming from, right? Men are really good about that, and you could develop that skill. But understanding where someone else is coming from and seeing things from their perspective, it's actually a good skill, because you can, when I say tactical empathy, it's something I learned from Paul Benjamin. But basically, if you're a war tactician, and you could put yourself in your enemy's shoes and feel what they're feeling, not feel what they're feeling, but understand where they're coming from, you can better strategize what their next plan probably is, and then you can counteract that in advance. Men are pretty good about that sort of thing because of wartime. Well, you can use that in your day-to-day interactions with people too, right? Have that understanding of where they're coming from so you know how to strategize and interact with them better, right? That's tactical empathy. Adaptability and paradigm shifts in leadership. So you got to recognize paradigm limitations, right? So effective leaders recognize when their current paradigms are limiting their effectiveness. You know how you can tell? When your team's fucking up. When your team's fucking up, you can take a step back and go, wait, why is my team a fucking shit sandwich right now? Right? What am I not doing? What am I not, do I need to train them better? Do I need to be more clear in directions with them? Right? I have a guy on my team that gets confused so easily. So I realize that when I'm talking to him, I have to be extremely clear and give him step by step because he easily gets confused. Right? So I know I have to like change my approach in communicating with him so that he knows exactly how to execute what he needs to execute, Embracing new leadership models. So leaders are open to paradigm shifts that, leaders open to paradigm shifts can integrate traditional strengths with modern leadership techniques, right? And then flexibility as a strength. So leaders who adapt to the evolving needs of their team are more successful and respected. We talked about this last week, right? I think with Wraith's book, we talked about the power of being flexible, right? Being able to adapt in crisis, being able to adapt to changing situations. If you're not so rigid and you can adapt, you can improvise, you can overcome, that'll make you more effective as a leader. And then leading through extreme ownership. So what is extreme ownership? Really, it's taking responsibility, owning everything in your world, owning absolutely everything. Okay. Your team fucks up. That's your fault. Okay. Your bosses, your bosses didn't tell you to do something right. Okay. You don't blame them. Okay. You blame yourself for not asking more questions. You understand? Right? You take ownership of everything in your world. Your relationships go downhill, you take ownership of that. Okay? It's what can I do better? I'm taking accountability. Okay. Oh, but she's not taking accountability. That's not your problem. Your problem is what can you be doing? Do you understand? Like Ryan Stone says, like if you can't describe what's going on in your relationship without referring to your girlfriend, you're not operating in your own frame. Okay. So you got to take extreme ownership of everything and own it, good or bad. One thing that I like, I prefer to do, right, is if my team does really well, I give credit to my team for doing well. If my team does poorly, I take ownership of that. It's my fault. You understand? Setting a standard. So a leader's example sets the tone for the entire team, encouraging a culture of accountability. And then you have building team trust and respect. So when a leader takes responsibility, right? So if the whole team fails, right? if something happens and they fail, and then your boss takes ownership of that builds respect. I had a boss that did that. I had a CTO one time who, man, we had some major equipment failures, and it largely it was because they were they were trying to go cheap on fucking equipment. So I'm pretty good at stringing together fucking old soda cans and making them work, right? I can make most things work. But is that ideal? No, like, because if this fails, like, we don't have any redundancy here. And so you go and explain that to your boss. Hey, we don't have any redundancy here. So if everything goes down, like, we could be having a major outage. And then they look at that and they go, yeah, I'm willing to take that risk until it happens. And then they have clients calling in and bitching at them for being down. We had several situations like that as a growing, startup tech company. And I had the CTO that just took absolute ownership of that. He was like, nope, it's my fault. I should have given you the budget. I should have fought harder for the budget to get you the equipment you needed. That's my fault. Right. I had total respect for that fucking guy. Total fucking respect for that guy. All right. So then the next concept is examples of paradigms that support leadership. So ownership paradigm, right? So we talked about that, the extreme ownership. So leaders who fully accept responsibility, build a culture of accountability and improvement. A mission first paradigm. Leaders who focus on the mission, encourage goal-oriented teamwork, and remove personal bias. My current day job boss is really good at this. He's really good at framing the mission of the company, right? He's like, look, it's not developers versus DevOps, okay?
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.